Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's time for some more peek.
Honey?
What?
Where's my super suit?
What?
Where is my super suit?
Starts and all the superheroes are doing some kind of interviews, like this is one of those side conversations on your favorite reality TV show. But then we switch to a 5-star GTA 5 police chase, and for some reason, why does this feel like the side quest to another person's story? Well, because it is. We got Bruce Wayne over here, Bob Parr on the call. The doofus gets baited into another side quest trying to save a cat, but saves the day anyway. He gets into the whip and we get introduced to Incredidweeb, Mr. Incredible's biggest fan, who is trying to become a sidekick, but he kicks him out and goes to stop another crime with the yacht of all yachts, Elastigirl. He then goes to save someone who's on their 13th reason why, but the floor he lands on turns out to be yet another crime scene in the story. Like, bruh, if this is just a Gotham City simulator, just tell us, Disney. It turns out to be the villain Bon Voyage robbing a bank, and we get interrupted again by Incredidweeb, who somehow made these rocket boots to come and stop Bon Voyage before Mr. Incredible could to show his worth, but actually ends up just getting in the way in the end, because while trying to get the cops, Le Bon Voyage put a sticky bomb on dude. Mr. Incredible sees it and tries to save the kid. He starts hanging on by his boots and finally rips the bomb off, but of course it lands in the middle of the train track and blows up, and of course there's a train oncoming literally seconds later, so Mr. Incredible pulls a Spider-Man, stopping the train. He hands Incredidweeb over to the cops and heads off to his wedding. He marries Elastigirl and they do the whole smoochy smooch, but soon after he gets sued by that suicidal Goofy and all the passengers who was on that train he saved. The non-soups, they started suing the heroes left and right, leading to the soups being banned and forced to live like regular humans in society. Many years later, Bob is working a desk job where he denies insurance to old ladies. He works for this 60-year-old Tyrion Lannister. Their kid Dash is in the principal's office for using his powers to prank his teacher, but his teacher really doesn't know what's going on, so he just makes a fool of himself during the accusation. All I'm waiting for is one of those fairly godparents. Meanwhile, Violet, their other child over here, geeking over the school's Mr. Popular. And how the heck is she just gonna pop invis in broad daylight and no one notices? But she gets picked up from school and Bob is going through it. He gets home and rages at his car because he is really fed up with this regular life. They all talk as a family about their days at the dinner table. Miss Incredible asks Violet why she ain't eating, so Dash teases her about having a crush, causing an all-out circus act to erupt in the dining room. While the parents wrestle around with the kids, the doorbell rings, and here's my favorite black superhero, Samuel L. Jackson. I mean Frozone. So Bob and Lucius, aka Frozone, aka Samuel L. Jackson, head off to go bowling, but really go to secretly stop some crime. They intercept a fire call, saving a bunch of civilians from a burning building, busting through a wall in the process, falling right into the lobby of a bank. Like, what kind of timing is that? Of course, the superheroes land in a bank dressed as robbers. The irony. So the cops pull up and try to arrest them because they are the only ones in here shiestied up. Frozone freezes the cop and they escape down the back of an alley while a suspicious lady stalks them. Bob gets home and Helen confronts Dude about his curfew and finds out he's been out here fighting crime again. So they get into an argument, and the next day Bob chokes out his uptight boss with little man syndrome and throws him through like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 walls. Bob's done goofed and goes home to reminisce about the glory days. He sees a message from that suspicious lady who was stalking them. She tells him that he was invited to a facility to remotely test a robot they've created that's gone rogue and they need him to stop it. So she gives him 24 hours to respond and the iPad blows up. He later then lies to Helen, telling her his job is sending him on some conference, but really he's accepting the gig to stop that robot and make a little extra moolah, because you know he got fired when he threw his boss through those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 walls. Later the next day, Miss Mirage briefs Buddy on the mission and drops all the details on that jawbreaker with legs. So the bot has advanced AI technology, meaning it continuously learns. This caused the bot to go rampant. Now they need him to go in and do his hero stuff really fast, but without destroying the bot too bad in the process. So they shoot him down to the island. He runs off and locates the big guy, and they are really tussling. The bot ain't going though. Mr. Incredible knocked him once and he got back up up on timing, socking him into a tree. Then bro turned into a homing Indiana Jones boulder and they fall into the pit of a volcano or something. Mr. Incredible ends up throwing the bot into some lava and it looks like things are up. Well, of course not, or we don't have a movie, right? The bot survives the lava and grabs Bob, but in the process of trying to rip bro in half, he actually buffs Mr. Incredible and fixes his back, and Bob grabs the bot by the head and makes it destroy itself. Meanwhile, back at the lab, we get our first sight at some true schemery because I sent so much hate in that.
Surprising. We must bring him back.
So they invite bro to dinner and he spots Mirage talking to the head guy after walking through a literal corridor of lava. Like, how the freak is she not seared to a crispy well done? So they get to grubbing for a bit and talk about her boss who wants to remain anonymous through this whole ordeal. They give each other some googly eyes while drinking wine. Bob goes back home and he's feeling motivated, spending time with the kids, clapping his wife, being a real dad, you know. He even started back working out and slimmed up some. Mans is really built like a 20-time world's strongest man champion. He sees that his super suit has ripped, so after saying goodbye for work, he goes to this freaking munchkin Edna's house. She is basically like the Tony Stark of the hero's super suit world, so she talks him into asking for a new suit. And back at the crib, Helen spots that white hair on Bob's suit, so when he picked up the phone, she was snooping around and heard the conversation and went to press Bob about who that thought was on the phone. So who that hoe is? He lies about it just being another work conference and sneaks off to the lab island, and you can tell he's getting back into his groove. He's got his own personal ship and everything. Man's getting treated like LeBron, and he got the new fit. Back at home, Helen does some more snooping because she isn't buying Bob's bullcrap. She sees that his suit's been patched up and calls Edna, who is the only person who could have done it. Then Bob goes to the designated conference room and gets attacked by the bot, but this time the head guy makes his debut. Bro's name is Syndrome, and if you can see any resemblances, man, I cannot say this word for nothing. Yeah, this buddy, Incredidweeb from back in the day. Bro's been so salty because he couldn't become a sidekick, so he became a genius villain inventor, creating all kinds of gadgets and selling them to the government, like this freeze time beam thingamajig. After throwing Bob like 100 yards away, he snuck away off this cliff, but Syndrome is not to be played with and sends a bomb down there to get him. Now he's in the cave and sees a skeleton of a past superhero. He hides behind the skeleton from the tracker who sent to confirm his death. Back with Helen, Edna shows her the suit she's made for the family that she had no clue were even being made. Now she knows Bob is up to something, but we see an in-depth demonstration of the suit's new abilities. It's fireproof, it's bulletproof, and each suit is tailored to each family member's specific ability. The suits also have a tracker, and that's how she's gonna find Bob. Speaking of Bob, he snuck onto one of the rail cars infiltrating the lab facility, and look at this absolute dime of a throw. The crisp cracking of the skull as he hurls this beautiful rock at the guard's noggin got him looking like he wanted to be in an Ayo and Teo dance video. This was just enough distraction to where he could sneak into the main entrance undetected. This freaking unit of a human somehow made it all the way back to the lava wall room undetected and sneaks through before getting his butt seared off. And I'm still not over how they got a freaking lava corridor that actually is walkable. This should literally be like instant death walking through that. But anyways, Bob makes it to this secret room and enters the password he found in the caves. Kronos. He finds the files of all the past soups who fell victim to Syndrome and his bots. He snoops some more and finds that Syndrome plans to launch the bot to the city to wreak havoc. But as he was leaving, the hefty Goofy tripped the alarm and got blasted by these sticky, self-expanding black Orbeez. Helen leaves to get Bob and leaves the kids at home for the night, but Dash ends up spotting the new super suits and they use Violet's Envious potions to sneak onto the plane with their mom. And don't worry about Jack, you know, they hired a babysitter with ADHD for him. And while all this is happening, Bob is at the lab getting tarnished by Syndrome and his contraptions, but Helen took control of the airplane and started evading this Call of Duty kill streak. But since Violet couldn't put the force field up in time, the missile struck, but Helen and the kids somehow lived this multi-missile strike with literally no damage. After Helen woke up from her CTE nap, turning into a parachute, saving the kids, she turns into a freaking boat as Dash runs them to the island. And Bob is really going through it now, cause in his head, his whole family just got turned into smoothie ingredients, and this troll over here rubbing salt in the wounds. But Bob starts crashing out and snatched up Mirage. Syndrome was like, "Do it! I freaking dare you to do it, Tubby." But Syndrome called this bluff cause Bob dropped her. Had Syndrome like,
"I thought you were bad." You ain't bad. You ain't nothing.
Helen and the kids get to the island and camp out in this cave as she explains to the kids that their dad is in trouble and she needs them to mask up while she goes and looks for him. Now that Bob is trapped and Syndrome thinks he's killed the Incredibles, he prepares to launch his freaking jawbreaker with legs over to the city on a rocket. Helen infiltrates the base and ends up getting her legs caught between all these sliding doors. So when the guard spotted her, she made light work of these two goofies. And I know the guard back here by her leg was like, yacht! Is that a lady leg? But after knocking him out, she freed herself and knocked the other two guards out with her amazing Disney hips. Syndrome loads up his advanced bowling ball and ships him off. And the cave that Dash and Violet are in happens to be the rocket's exhaust tunnel. So they escape crispification and Helen finds out where Bob is. So we get a One Piece time skip and it's the next day. This robot bird sounds the island alarm. Now all the guards are chasing the kids. Back in the lab, Mirage frees Bob and snatches her up and he contemplates snapping her little neck like a pretzel. Mirage tells Bob that his family survived, yada yada yada. They hug. Helen walks in, sees them hugging, and knocks the ever-living crap out of Mirage's jaw. What a love triangle. So Bob and Helen run off to save the kids, but low-key, it doesn't look like they really needed much. They holding their own. The grunts have a goose chase through the forest trying to catch Dash. He catches an accidental body, leading this goofy to absolute doom. Then Dash ends up running so fast he begins to run on freaking water, and Violet uses her invis pots to distract the guard long enough for Dash to pummel bro, and she finally learns how to use her force field thingy. But now the whole family is reunited, and before any more damages could be had, Syndrome showed up with his freeze finger and started talking like he was from Duck Dynasty.
Oh, this is just too good.
Like, what's up with that accent? He traps them in the electric orb thingamajig, then explains to them his master plan of launching the bot to the city so he could defeat it himself with his inventions. Then he'll sell his inventions to everyone, making a ton more money and making superheroes totally obsolete in the process. After he walks out, Violet wastes no time freeing the fam because she wasn't trying to hear that whole I'm sorry apology cheese from Bob to Helen. So Bob caves some NPC heads in and they hijack a rocket, launching themselves to the mainland. And here's got to be my favorite Pixar animation scene. Honey, where's my super suit? I said, where is my super suit? Whoever wrote these characters, yeah, they were definitely black. They captured the back and forth between a black man and his queen perfectly. So Syndrome starts saving people and bro is really hacking for real, literally disassembling the robot with ease. And bro done already got figured out. The robot was like and shot bro down. Bro literally grew up into what I'm thinking is a multi-billionaire and is still pathetic. The Incredibles pull up driving a camper through the highways of the city. They make it there in a not so pretty fashion, and after some random parent smooching, the robot pulls up, dropping that thump-da on Violet and Dash. But Bob stops the teabagging and gets thrown into a building. Then Frozone pulls up and they hit a 3-man weave on the bot. So Bob finds Syndrome's remote, and then we get Disney's best reenactment of the Avengers Gauntlet scene as the bot and the Incredibles fight over Syndrome's remote. They do a bunch of other stuff while playing monkey in the middle with the metal testicle. Then we get into a situation where Violet is just over here spamming buttons on the remote. Got the bot over here moving like he on 200 ping. So Bob tells Helen to hit the rocket boost button and he grabs the bot's claw, because the only thing that can hurt it is itself. So Helen times it up perfectly, giving Bob the opportunity for a buzzer beater, destroying the bot. Syndrome wakes up just in time to see the citizens glazing the Incredibles in Frozone. And you know this fool was hating. Now since they've defeated the bot, soups are getting a better reputation in the country now. But as Helen tried to get in contact with Jack's babysitter, they get some disturbing voicemails from the house phone.
I like you, and I want you. Now we can do this the easy way, or we can do it the hard way. The choice is yours.
When they get home, Syndrome has nabbed the baby and has resorted to kidnapping of all things. He tries to leave with Jack, but bro is like a superpower generator, going through an array of powers and escaping Syndrome. Bob throws Helen up to catch him, and Syndrome catches a car to his noggin from Bob. Now the jet engine has turned bro into ground beef. Months later, Dash wins his first sports event with ease, and Violet gets a date with her dream guy. Another villain pops up out of nowhere, named the Underminer. And here we get the resurgence of the heroes in the city. The Incredibles is literally my childhood in a nutshell. The greatest superhero movies ever made, and then dipped for 14 years. 14. Some of y'all weren't even born yet. That's not a sequel gap. That's a family reunion. But finally, in 2018, Disney was like, y'all still want that Incredibles sequel? And the entire planet screamed, yeah! And that's how we get The Incredibles 2, the movie where Pixar asks, what if superheroes had to fight villains and gender roles at the same time? The movie doesn't waste time.
Tick-tock, motherfucker.
It picks up exactly where the first one ended. Like literally.
Literally. Ya Allah.
Seconds later, Underminer pops out the ground like an angry mole rat with a megaphone. I'm the Underminer! Head tail. And honestly, man's been waiting 14 years for his screen time. You almost want to root for him. Almost. The Incredibles jump straight into action. Bob, Mr. Incredible, Helen, Elastigirl, and then you got Violet and Dash, and even Frozone done slid in with the drip. And Jack, he's just vibing in the stroller. But here's the thing, the Underminer is kind of built different. He's got a giant drill machine tearing through the city, smashing buildings, launching money trucks into the air, and while the family's trying to stop him, Pixar reminds us real quick that being a superhero in public is illegal. Yeah, superheroes are still banned after everything that went on with Syndrome. Every punch, every rescue, every car thrown in the air, the government's like, cute, but you're all criminals.
Right to jail, right away.
The action here is crazy too. You got Frozone freezing half the street, Violet putting up force fields, Dash sprinting across like Sonic the Hedgehog, and Elastigirl stretching herself so thin she could have joined the Fantastic Four. But despite all that, the Underminer gets away. Dude literally robs a bank and drills into the ground and just dips out that mug.
Really go. You fast, bro, but you ain't fast enough.
And of course, to make it worse, the Incredibles' attempt at saving the day basically wrecks the city. Buildings trashed, trains derailed, property damage off the charts. You'd have thought this was an Avengers movie. It's like, thanks for saving us, but also my rent just doubled because of you.
I am never gonna financially recover from this.
Doodle Bob. So after all that chaos, the cops show up like, cool fight scene. You're still arrested. And the Parr family are just left sitting in the spotlight like kids caught shoplifting. Even Frozone's like, mans, y'all wildin'. And this is where Rick Dicker comes in. Remember, bro? The government agent who's been cleaning up after the family's messes? He shows up like a tired uncle. Listen, I've covered for y'all too many times. Super relocation program shut down. You're on your own, buddies. Translation, pack your bags, superheroes. You're broke, homeless, and canceled. So the Incredibles move into a motel, and here's where the whole movie starts to hit different. Cause this ain't just about superheroes fighting bad guys. It's about a family trying to figure out how to survive when society is telling them they're obsolete. Bob's over here stressed, Helen's stressed, Violet's mad, and you know Dash, he just hungry and jump. And then Jack just over here doing Jack things, still vibing. I'm a baby, I don't pay bills. But then hope arrives. Winston Dever, a billionaire tech CEO with way too much energy, and his sister Evelyn. They pull up like, we want to make superheroes legal again. And Elastigirl, you're the face of our campaign. And Bob's sitting there all salty and jump. Like, hold on, y'all want her to be the face? Not me, the one literally named Mr. Incredible? But Winston explains it. Elastigirl causes less property damage. She's cleaner, smoother, and better PR for the company. Meanwhile, Bob punches a villain once and insurance premiums go up statewide. So Elastigirl takes the gig and boom, the stage is set. While Helen's out here saving the world, Bob's gonna be stuck at home trying to play Mr. Mom. And let me tell you, this is where the real chaos begins. Right after Elastigirl got hired as the official poster hero for Winston Dever's big Make Superheroes Legal Again campaign, you got Bob over here. Man sitting there like he just got picked last in dodgeball. He's smiling on the outside, but on the inside, this nigga's furious. He's plotting how to prove he's still the alpha superhero. So they set Helen up with a new motorcycle like she's Batman, the Elasticycle. This thing splits in half, sticks to walls, and basically makes Batman jealous. And right away, Helen's like, oh yeah, I can work with this. Bob tried to play it cool, but his face says it all. That should have been me. Nigga over here hating. How you gonna hate on your own wife? If she bringing in that money, she bringing in that money. But I feel you. So Elastigirl's first mission, a runaway train. Classic superhero setup, except here's the twist. The train is going backwards, straight into the city. So Elastigirl has to pull the cleanest stunt work we've ever seen since Spider-Man 2. She starts stretching across the rooftops, slinging her bike across tracks, and using her powers like she's been practicing for this moment since 2004. And she nails it. She saves everyone without demolishing half the city. The crowd cheers, the cameras love her, and Twitter hashtags flip from ban supers to Elastigirl for president. Meanwhile, back at the motel, Bob's watching on TV like, cool, so my wife just replaced me as Superman. Nice. But Bob's got bigger problems. He's now officially a stay-at-home dad. And let me tell you, this man is in over his head.
I'm done. Cut the show. I'm done.
First problem, Dash's homework. Dash has this new math assignment.
You stupid.
They're not.
What's 9 plus 10?
21.
You stupid.
And Bob's losing his mind over here trying to figure it out. He's flipping through the textbook like it's ancient runes and hieroglyphics. Dash is like, that's not how the teacher does it, Pops. And Bob snaps at Buddy. I don't need the teacher. I got math.
2 plus 2 is 4. Minus 1, that's 3. Quick maths.
Spoiler, he does not, in fact, got math. Next problem, Violet's boy drama. Remember Tony Rendinger, or however you say this nigga name? The dude Violet finally got a date with at the end of the first movie? Yeah, the government wiped his memory to protect the family's secret identity. So now Tony doesn't remember any of that. And Violet's furious at this junk. She's like, Dad, you ruined my life. Bob's standing there like, bro, I literally fought a drill tank last week. Why am I the villain now? And then the final boss, Jack Jack, the menace in Pampers. See, up until now, Bob thought Jack Jack was just a normal baby. Cute, drooly, harmless. Wrong. The baby's got more powers than the Avengers combined. One night, Bob wakes up to find Jack Jack fighting a raccoon in the backyard. And this ain't your regular scuffle. This is literally WWE SmackDown fighting for the money case. Jack Jack's phasing through walls, shooting lasers from his eyes, multiplying into clones like this is Naruto using the shadow clone jutsu, bursting into flames, even turning into a literal demon baby. And the raccoon, poor thing's just trying to steal trash, but instead is fighting the final boss of Pixar. Bob's jaw is on the floor at this sight. He's flabbergasted. He like, my baby is a one-man X-Man team? And here's the genius of the subplot. While Elastigirl's out here doing clean cinematic superhero work, Bob's over here fighting battles every parent knows. Homework, teenage mood swings, and sleepless nights with a baby. Except in this case, the baby could end humanity. Meanwhile, Elastigirl starts noticing something is off. During the train rescue and her other missions, there's a new villain in town, the Screenslaver. This dude hacks screens, hypnotizes people with trippy patterns, and basically turns technology into mind control. He shows up on every TV like, people don't think, they let screens tell them who they are. And the audience is sitting there like, low-key facts though. Screenslaver starts causing chaos in this joint, hijacking broadcasts, hypnotizing civilians, setting traps, and Elastigirl, she's the only one clean enough to fight him without ruining the campaign. And Winston is over here loving the headlines. But Evelyn, his sister, is side-eyeing the whole thing like she knows more than she's letting on. Back at home, Bob's officially tapped out. He can't hang no more. Man hasn't slept in ages. Jack Jack's phasing through dimensions. Dash is still failing math, and Violet won't talk to him. He's on the verge of tears. Then Edna shows up. Yes, the GOAT returns. Edna takes one look at Jack Jack, sees them chaos powers, and instead of being horrified, she's like, my, he's perfect. I ain't gonna lie, that was low-key a good Edna impersonation. She whips up a custom super suit for Jack Jack that can handle all his powers, and suddenly, Jack Jack goes from a demonic baby to controlled chaos weapon. Bob can finally breathe, for now at least. So while Elastigirl's out here stacking W's for the superhero PR campaign, Bob Parr is slowly realizing stay-at-home dad life is harder than fighting syndrome, and Pixar plays it perfectly. But let's talk about the villain, the Screenslaver. This dude is basically Black Mirror, the villain edition. So Elastigirl starts hunting bro, and Winston Dever is gassing her up too, setting up interviews, cheering every time she lands a clean save. And for the first time in years, superheroes actually have public support. Elastigirl's the new celebrity, and Winston's cashing in every headline. Now the Screenslaver finally makes his big move, taking over a monorail and hypnotizing the conductor. Elastigirl has to go full Fast and Furious with her Elasticycle, stretching across tracks, jumping rooftops, doing stunts that made even Spider-Man jealous. She saves the train without wrecking the city, but then she tracks the Screenslaver to his hideout. Dark room, hypnotic lights, and a creepy villain monologuing about consumerism. Classic villain vibes. They throw down, and Elastigirl dodging light traps, smashing through the layer, and she finally catches him. Takes off his mask, and wait for it. It's just some random pizza guy.
I'm just a regular, everyday, normal motherfucker.
I told you in the first song, I'll tell you in another.
Yeah. Screenslaver ain't who we thought. He's just a patsy, hypnotized to play the role. And Elastigirl realizes, oh nah, this rabbit hole goes deeper. Meanwhile, cut to Bob, and Jack's new suit from Edna is really helping, but this baby is still chaos. He sneezes and teleports, gets mad and turns into a red demon, laughs, and multiplies into 5 versions of himself. Bob's not even parenting no more, he's just surviving. The funniest part? He's so sleep deprived that he looks like Thanos and snapped half his soul away, but you can see it in his heart too. Bob's still salty about Helen being the star, but he's learning how hard the home front really is. And Violet slowly warming back up to bro when she sees him actually trying. That family dynamic is the real sauce of this movie. Back on Elastigirl's side, she's suspicious. If the Screenslaver was just a puppet, who's pulling the strings? And remember I was talking about Evelyn giving those side eyes earlier? She's over here getting vented to over a glass of wine, and Evelyn, smooth as ever, slides into the big reveal. She starts talking about how their dad and how he believed in superheroes so much that he died waiting for one to save him during a break-in. Meanwhile, their mom hit the panic button and called the police. The police saved her, not the superheroes. Evelyn's conclusion? Supers give people false hope. Tech is what really saves lives. And right then, Elastigirl is putting 2 and 2 together. But before she can do anything, bam! Evelyn whips out her secret weapon, the hypnotic goggles. One flash and Elastigirl is enslaved. Yep, Evelyn was the Screenslaver this whole time. The real villain wasn't some random piece of dude. It's the soft-spoken tech genius we thought was just making cool gadgets in the corner. She played everyone like a fiddle, got the whole world in a genjutsu. So boom, Evelyn just revealed herself as the true mastermind. Forget Screenslaver, that was just a stage name. Evelyn's the real boss, and she's got Elastigirl hypnotized with those freaky Caesar goggles. And her plan? Honestly, that junk petty for real. She doesn't just want to stop superheroes, she wants to humiliate them. Her whole vibe is, supers made people weak. People need to rely on themselves, not capes.
No capes.
Which is low-key ironic, since she's using technology to enslave people while saying tech is freedom. But hey, the villain's got a villain. Meanwhile, Winston's still out here thinking everything's sunshine and elasticycles. My man has no clue his own sister is over here playing Fortnite with world domination. He's too busy planning a big publicity event and a luxury boat summit with politicians and supers, where Elastigirl is supposed to be the shining star. Little does he know, his sister's about to hijack the whole thing. Cut back to Bob, and my guy still looked like he hasn't slept since 2004. Jack's powers are still going wild, and Violence giving him that side eye every morning, and Dash is still treating homework like kryptonite. Bob's at the end of his rope, but then he gets the call. Helen's in trouble, and that flips the switch. Bob realizes time to suit back up, but he's not alone. He brings the kids because, let's be honest, this is the Incredibles now, not Mr. Incredible solo adventure. So they roll out and Frozone joins too. Because of course, the Iceman is basically family at this point, but here's where Evelyn's plan gets real nasty. She's already captured Elastigirl and straps those goggles on her, turning her into a mind-controlled puppet. And then she starts snatching up other supers Winston had recruited for the campaign. Brick, Crucial, Void, and all these other new heroes we met earlier. Hypnotized, Goggle Squad full roster. So now, it's basically like the Avengers Civil War, but one side's been brainwashed. Frozone pulls up to help the family and immediately got jumped by his own teammates. Evelyn slaps goggles onto him too, adding him to the collection. Meanwhile, Bob and the kids show up at Winston's fancy yacht for the big "Supers Are Legal Again" event. But surprise, the event is a setup. The hypnotized heroes, including Elastigirl and Frozone, hijack the ship. They lock Winston away, smash the controls, and set the yacht onto a collision course straight for the city. Evelyn's about to broadcast a worldwide footage of the superheroes destroying people on live TV. It's villain PR 101. Make your enemy discredit themselves. Now here's where the kids step up. Violet, Dash, and Jack realize they're the only ones not under Evelyn's control. And for the first time, Bob fully admits it. Y'all are ready. This is your fight too. Violet snaps into leader mode, Dash brings the energy, and Jack, well, Jack is basically a walking super weapon. Baby about to carry the whole team on his back. Alright now, we're officially at the climax. Evelyn Dever's villain arc is really peaking. The luxury yacht is full speed ahead on a death course into the city, and every super on board is rocking those freaky mind control goggles. Basically, it's a Disney cruise going full Suicide Squad. Inside the ship, chaos. The hypnotized heroes are tearing the place apart. Winston is locked up somewhere in the panic room, and Evelyn's in the captain's deck laughing like she's running a Twitch stream called "Watch Me in Superheroes IRL." But this time, the Parr family ain't split up. This is the payoff. They roll up together, Bob, Helen, Violet, Dash, and Jack Jack. Oh yeah, Frozone too, once they managed to snap him out of it, and it's time for Pixar's version of a final boss raid. First matchup, Elastigirl vs. Evelyn. Helen tracks her down into the bridge of the ship, dodging screens, fighting henchmen, stretching across the control panels trying to keep the boat from ramming into the city. Evelyn is wild confident though. She's like, you think people will ever trust supers? Look at them. All I need is one headline and you're finished. And honestly, that's the scary part. Evelyn doesn't have powers. She doesn't throw any punches. She uses perception. She's the embodiment of bad PR. And for superheroes, that's deadlier than kryptonite. Meanwhile, Bob and Frozone are out here throwing hands with the hypnotized heavy hitters. Brick, Cruciar, Roof Lux. It's basically WWE on a yacht. Bob's body slamming dudes into the walls. Frozone's freezing hallways like it's an ice skating rink. And Dash is running interference. Literally running. Bro is over here third partying while Violet shields everyone from portal attacks courtesy of Void. And let me pause here, because Void, low-key the MVP of the new characters. She's hypnotized at first, but once the goggles come off, she joins Violet's side and starts doing the slickest portal move since Doctor Strange. Violet throws a force field into a portal and pops out the other side and knocks a dude out. Chef's kiss. But the real MVP, y'all already know. Jack Jack. This baby is Pixar's secret weapon. Evelyn's hypnotized goons try to grab him, and Jack Jack just phases through their arms. Then he turns into a fire demon baby and scares them off. Then he sneezes and multiplies into 3 Jack Jacks, all laser beaming different enemies. Evelyn should have quit the second she saw this kid. Back in the control room, Helen's fighting to steer the ship while Evelyn escapes into a jet. Evelyn thinks she's got it in a bag, flying off all smug like, they'll never stop me. But Elastigirl ain't having it. She stretches midair, grabs onto the jet, yanks Evelyn out that mug like she's pulling laundry from a dryer, and leaves her tied up on the deck. Clean, efficient, straight mom energy. The big problem though, the yacht is still moving full speed toward the city. If it crashes, superheroes are canceled forever. They ain't coming back from this one. This is where the whole family comes together. Violet sets up shields, Dash reroutes the ship's engine, Frozone freezes the water to slow it down, Bob uses raw strength to force the rudder, and Elastigirl stretches across the steering wheel like a human seatbelt. And Jack Jack, y'all already know, he's just there being chaotic. But hey, more support I guess. It takes every single one of them working in sync to finally stop the yacht before it slams into the shore. The city is saved now, supers are cleared, and Evelyn, arrested, salty, and still looking like she's trying to monologue even while handcuffed. Classic Pixar villain energy. So the yacht disaster is officially averted. Evelyn's in handcuffs, and supers just pulled the cleanest group project save of all time. The world finally got to see what superheroes can do when they're not shackled by bad PR. Winston is running around trying to do damage control. Man's been played harder than an Xbox, but at least he's got the receipts now to show supers aren't the villains. And the Parr family, for the first time in forever, they're not sneaking around, not hiding powers, not arguing about who gets to wear the suit. They're standing tall in front of the cameras, united like a whole squad in this joint. The people are cheering, politicians even clapping in this mug. And suddenly, hashtag make supers legal again turns into hashtag supers forever. It's a straight glow up moment. Now Pixar being Pixar doesn't just wrap it off there. Nah, they slide in some personal payoff arcs. First up, Violet. Remember her boy Tony? The dude she had a whole meltdown about the government wiping his memory? Yeah, turns out Winston's got the tech to fix that. Tony remembers her again and asks her out, and Violet goes from sulky goth to smiling teen in 0.2 seconds. Character growth unlocked. Next we got Bob and Helen. The whole storyline was basically a flex about gender roles. Bob learned that parenting isn't easy, and Helen proving she can carry the superhero spotlight. And by the end, you see the respect restored. Bob's not salty anymore. He's actually proud for real, not over here hating and junk. And Helen, she knows she can rely on her husband to hold down the home front just as much as she can rely on him in a fight. Balance restored. Dash, bro still vibing, still running everywhere. His arc is literally just be the comedic relief with homework issues. But hey, not every sibling gets a spotlight. And then Jack Jack, the absolute scene stealer of the entire movie. Pixar really said, what if a baby had 17 different powers and then made it work? By the end, Jack Jack's not just a baby anymore. He's a walking insurance nightmare. But thanks to Edna's new super suit, at least the family has a way to keep him from phasing into alternate dimensions during nap time. So Evelyn gets carted off to jail, Winston apologizes on live TV, and the government reinstates superheroes. Just like that, the Parr family are back in business. And how does Pixar close it out? A car chase. Yep, after all that yacht drama, all that hypnosis chaos, the Parrs are back in the car, chasing down some regular criminals, some straight up hoodlums. Violet leaves her date with Tony mid-sentence, throws on the mask, and sprints after her family. It's the perfect ending. No grand final speech, no drawn out monologue, just the Incredibles doing what they do best, saving the day. And no cap, this was really a good sequel. They didn't just recycle Syndrome 2.0. They gave us a new villain with a legit worldview, flipped the spotlight onto Elastigirl, and gave Bob some real character development. And they also made Jack Jack the secret MVP of the entire film, no cap. But yeah, I low-key wouldn't mind if they did an Incredibles 3. I don't know how they would do it, but I know that junk will be clean. And JMF, thank y'all for supporting the vids lately. We moving. Anyways, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and get ready for today's script of the vid. Today we're heading to the book of 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7, and it reads, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." Dear Lord Jesus, thank you for bringing the JMF here for yet another video. We thank you for allowing us to read this great scripture from your word today, dear Lord. Allow us to meditate and write this scripture into our hearts, and allow us to realize that you definitely didn't give us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind, like you told us, dear Lord. Things like anxiety and worry and all these other things that begin to disrupt our minds. Allow us to always remember that these things are not of you, and we have the power to take control of these things and cast them out of our mind and out of our hearts. Allow us to just grow closer to you, dear Lord, because when we're with you, we have that peace, we have that love, we have that grace, we have that mercy, and we don't have to focus on the hardships and on the bad things of life. Even though those things will come, with you we'll have peace in it all, dear Lord, and strength and courage and boldness. So I ask these things in your name we pray. Amen. See ya.
Jutsu Mafia, hidden technique, teeth,